अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, क्या हाल है? Sir, will I get a grade on basis of A? Yeah, you will. You will. Because in that case, they will consider P1 as AS level component, okay? And M1 will be considered as M1 should be considered as A2 level component. So you should get your grade. I don't see why you shouldn't get your grade. That's my take on it. Have you uh, heard anything from your school? ओके चलें लेट्स स्टार्ट. अच्छा बाय द वे मैंने वो दिया हुआ है इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन यू विल फाइंड द लिंक टू द नोट्स, ठीक है, एंड ऑल्सो द अनसॉल्व पास्ट पेपर्स. Okay, if anyone here can recommend any physics channel, that would be great. I think yeah, someone already has. मुझे I have no idea. Sir, if I forget to reverse sign inequality in P2, will I get any marks? I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so, to be honest. Okay, chaleं. So, coordinate geometry, we're going to be solving past paper questions of coordinate geometry because for one very simple reason, and that is question of the day ka answer hai 4. The answer to question of the day is 4. It was the same question as math, so that's why I didn't pay too much attention to it. But yeah, the correct answer is 4. Okay. Anyway, now those of you who are watching, I'd appreciate if you guys would like the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. So yeah, let's get to work. So like I said, we're going to be solving some past paper questions, and I would prefer to solve some difficult past paper questions, ठीक है, ताकि ये कि हमारा ज़रा learning हो. Okay. And lately, so a couple of things before I start is that lately you'll notice that the questions of coordinate geometry are spread out in the sense that you have multiple parts and the question sort of takes you step by step. Okay, find this coordinate, find the gradient, and then maybe it'll ask you to form an equation. So that's how it is lately. Okay, but previously there used to be like one big question on coordinate geometry where you had to figure out everything yourself. Okay, the question will tell you that you need to do this, and along the way you would have to find out so many things, and then you would be marked on those things as well, obviously including the final answer. So we're going to do some questions from the past. Okay, so like for example, this is a question which is from October November 2011, so it's more than a decade old, but it's still relevant. Conceptually it's relevant. The pattern may not be that relevant, but the concepts that are tested is still quite relevant. Okay, so here's a question. Let's see what it says, and let's solve it step by step. So it says here the points A, B, and C and D are vertices of a trapezium. in which AB is parallel to DC and angle BAD is 90 degrees. Okay, so take that into consideration. The two lengths that the question has mentioned are parallel, and also where the angle is 90 degrees. So don't just randomly draw it. Okay, pay close attention to the points that you have. Sir, could you please tell how to access P1 May June 20? Beta, I think you'll find it on Reddit or Facebook पे search कर लो, you'll find it there. कोहली एक group है, उस पे किसी ने marking scheme डाली हुई है. I'm sure question paper भी होगा, like you'll find some pictures of it or something like that. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to work. So exams are due. Yes, exams in Pakistan, alhamdulillah, have been resumed. Okay, so tomorrow I guess you guys have your physics exam. So yeah, good luck for that. So here are the points. Okay, let's mark them one by one. So A, as you can see, is a point 1, 4, B is a point 3, 8, and C is a point 13, 13. Now here's what I would advise. I would advise to not like sort of mark them accurately on an xy plane, but a rough sketch is something that I would strongly encourage. So if A is a point 1, 4, let's start with A right here. Okay. Now B is a point 3, 8. So the x is greater and the y is greater. So that means it's going to be somewhere on the right and somewhere above point A. C is a point that's 13, 13. So that means it's going to be further on the right and further above point B. So somewhere over here is point C. Okay. Now the question says that ABCD is a trapezium. So that means we're going to make the fourth vertex somewhere over here. And it also says that BAD is 90 degrees. So that means this angle right here, BAD will be 90 degrees. So that means point D we'll find somewhere over here. Okay. Now I know you might think this doesn't really look like a trapezium, and you're right in doing so. So I mean you're right in saying so. So yeah, here it is. I fixed it. Now this looks like a trapezium. You can see that this is parallel and this is parallel. Okay, this is not drawn to scale. Okay, this is just a rough sketch. So this will be 90 degrees, and if the two lines are parallel, then it's obvious that this angle will also be 90 degrees. Okay, and we have to find out the coordinates of D. So like I said, this is a question from the past. This is a question from October, November 2011. So in questions like these, you sort of had to plan everything. Okay, the question won't take you step by step. You had to just sort of figure out what it is that you have to do in order to find out the coordinates of D. So notice that we have the coordinates of A. They're 1, 4. We have the coordinates of B. They're 3, 8. And we also have the coordinates of C, 13, 13. Okay. All right, now what can we do next? We need to find out the coordinates of D. So if somehow I'm able to find out the equation of AD and also the equation of CD, solving them simultaneously would give me the point of intersection, which is D. Okay, so this is what we're doing now. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find out the equation of AD, whatever we have to do. Okay, whatever we have to do to find the equation of AD, we'll do that. So you can say technically that's step 1. Okay, then step 2 would be that we're going to find out the equation of CD or DC, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now because these two have a common point and the common point is D, then what we're going to do is we're going to solve them simultaneously, or you can say solve the two equations simultaneously. So this is like macro planning. Okay, this is like planning but on a macro level. But now let's get down to the micro level and see. Let's focus on the fine details now. Solve the two equations simultaneously to find D. Okay. Now let's talk about AD. Let's start with equation of line AD. So remember, there are two things you need in order to form an equation. One is the gradient and the other is the point through which the line is passing. Do we have the gradient? No, we don't. Do we have a point through which it's passing? Yes, we do. But can we find the gradient? Yes, we can. So let's start with the gradient of AB. Let's find out the gradient of AB, for which we're going to obviously use the formula y2 minus y1, which means 8 minus 4 and 3 minus 1. So 8 minus 1 is 4 and 3 minus 1 is 2. That means the gradient of this line is equals to 2. Now because the line AD is perpendicular, that means the gradient of line AD would be the negative reciprocal of 2, which is minus 1 upon 2. Now do we have a point through which it's passing? Yes, we do. The point is a comma 4. Now let's form an equation. This is what I will be using to form an equation. Y minus y1 is equals to x minus x1, which means y minus 4 equals to minus 1 upon 2 into x minus 1. Cross multiply कर लेते हैं. 2y minus 8 equals to minus x plus 1. Let's write this nicely. 2y plus x equals to 1 plus 8, which is 9. Let's further write it nicely, and this becomes x plus 2y equals to 9. Now the reason why I've written it like this is so that when I solve it in the calculator, it's easier for me to just input the equation. Okay, linear log की stream इंशाल्लाह इसी वीक करूँगा. कब करूँगा? कल तो देखो permutation and combination है. Alhamdulillah, sorry about that. What did I miss? What is your question, sir? How to perfectly prepare for P4 so I can get full marks? But I don't teach physics, so I don't know. I can't help you with that. Thank you, Saad. What variant is sent to Southeast Asia? I think entire Asia, since the time zone is more or less the same, follows the same variant, and the variant is 2. Sir, 10 days में P2 शुरू से तैयार कर सकते हैं? I don't know where you're sitting right now. As in what your state of preparation is, so I can't say that. Okay. All right. Yeah. So x plus 2y equals to 9 is the equation of line AD. Okay. Now let's focus on line CD. So I'll switch to a different color for that. So let's find out the equation of line CD. This is for add maths. Yeah, this is for add maths. बेटा मैथ्स पेपर 2 की स्ट्रीम मैंने की है अभी थोड़ी देर पहले तो की है where I solved a paper 2. Anyway, now for line CD, do we have the gradient? No, we don't. Do we have a point through which it's passing? Yes, we do. But we can find out the gradient because the two lines are parallel. That means the gradient of line CD will also be equal to 2. So the gradient of line CD is equals to 2. The point through which the line is passing, we have that. It's 13, 13. So y minus 13 is equals to m into x minus 13. So y minus 13 is equals to 2x minus 26. So let's rearrange it. So this becomes minus 2x plus y equals to minus 13. Why minus 13? Because minus 26 plus 13 is negative 13. So here is equation of line number 2. Now then what we do is we solve 1 and 2 simultaneously. Now if I've done everything correctly, then this should give me the correct answer, which I'm looking at right now, and it's 7 comma 1. Now let's see what do we get. So simultaneously, I'm using a calculator to solve this, okay? To save some time. 1, 2, add math students hain aap log. I don't expect you guys to not know how to solve simultaneous equations. Okay, so solving 1 and 2 simultaneously gives us the value of x as 7, and we get the value of y as 1. So that means D has coordinates 7 comma 1. So there you go. That's it. That's your answer. Now, what are your thoughts about this question? What would you rate this question on a scale of 1 to 10? The difficulty level. 1 being like super easy, 10 being like insanely difficult. Maths P4, not physics. Wait, Maths P4 to ho gaya beta. If you're talking about next year, then it's too soon. Okay. Binomial, okay, binomial also I plan on streaming. Alright, don't worry about that. 0, that's brave. 11, okay, now that's too much. Oh, okay, so you meant it in that sense. Okay. I think like a 3 or 4 on 10 would be fine. Okay, now, so let's do another question. Okay, now occasionally you'll notice that in coordinate geometry you have vectors also. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to find another question. Let's find a more complicated question. Okay, let's do this question. This question is from May June 2015, paper 2, variant 2. Isn't it necessary to show the working of simultaneous? Yes, it is necessary. Okay, so just plug in one equation in the other, show the working. I just saved some time by not showing it. Okay, in the exam, make sure that you show the working. So it doesn't make sense why the coordinate of D when is 1 when the y coordinate of A is 4. That's because it wasn't drawn to scale. And the y coordinate is okay, wait a minute. You're right. Here, this is what the correct answer is. It's 7 comma 1. Okay. And let me tell you why it doesn't make sense. That's because, like I said, it's not drawn to scale. When you draw it to scale, it will make total sense. Okay. But because it's not drawn to scale, that's why it doesn't. But yeah, that's that. Okay. Anyway. Now, so the next question that I'd like to solve with you guys is this one. Okay. So this is a slightly complicated question. Okay. So how to solve for area with coordinates? Yeah, I will do that, Mariam. I plan on doing a question like that where I can teach you how to find out the area. Okay, so don't worry about that. Anyway, so let's do this question. This, like I said, is from May June 2015, paper 2, variant 2. Okay, so let's see what this says. So this question says, again, it says solution by accurate drawing will not be accepted. The line y equals to mx plus 4 meets the line x equals to 2 and x equals to minus 1. So be careful, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. Okay? This is x equals to 2, this is x equals to minus 1. Alright, don't confuse the y-axis with any other line. Then it says the line, okay, the point R is such that QR is parallel to the y-axis. The point R is such that QR is parallel to the y-axis. So it's just trying to tell you that this is a vertical line. Okay? And the gradient of RP is 1. Okay, so that means the gradient of RP, the gradient of this line, is basically equal to what? Is basically equal to 1. Okay, now, how does that help? Let me show you. If you want to find out the coordinates, first let's read the question, then we'll see what's what. Okay. Then it says the point P has coordinates 2, 10. Okay. Then it says find the value of M. Okay, find the value of M. So if you notice, M is basically what? M is basically the gradient of this line. Okay, the line that I'm now highlighting in green. Okay, I'll make it more prominent. So this line has gradient. What? This line has gradient M. And if I wanted to find out the gradient of this line, then I would need 2 points. So one point I can see very clearly, it's 2, 10. So 2, 10 is basically the coordinates of P. Now the other point that I can't see clearly, but if you sort of dig deeper, you'll realize that is basically the point on the y-axis. Okay, and if it's a point on the y-axis, that means its x coordinate is going to be 0. So another point that we have is 0, 4. Now with this piece of information, what we can do is we can find out the gradient. So how will we do that? 4 minus 10 over 0 minus 2. 4 minus 10 is minus 6. Minus 6 upon minus 2 is equals to 3. So that means the gradient of this line equals to 3. Which means that this equation is actually equal to what? Is actually equal to y equals to 3x plus 4. Will we need that later on? You never know. We might need it later on. So that's why I've written it over here. So there you go. That's that. Easy. Then it says find the y coordinate of q. Okay. Now the reason why the question is asking you to find the y coordinate of q, because q is on the line x equals to minus 1. So that means one thing is for sure, and that is the x coordinate of q has to be minus 1. Okay. Now here are the coordinates of q, minus 1 comma y, and here we have the coordinates of p, 2 10, and we know that the gradient of line pq is equal to what? Is equal to 3. Okay, so these points are collinear. Q, let's call this point y. So q, y, and p are collinear, so that means they'll give us the same gradient, and the gradient is 3. So let's find out the gradient. 10 minus y over 2 minus minus 1, and let's equate it to 3. So 10 minus y, 2 minus minus 1 will be 3. 3 into 3 will be 9. And y is equals to 10 minus 9, which means y is equals to 1. And there you go. That is the y coordinate of q, which is equal to 1. Okay. Now, but if you're blank for O-level P2, it's okay. O-level Maths P2. I'm streaming past papers, so just solve the past paper along with the stream, and that should be fine. Okay. Yes, Mariam, I do plan on making A-level videos. Don't worry about it. Sir, permutation combination are very tricky. How do we improve in these? Just keep practicing. Keep practicing. Okay, keep practicing permutation combination. That's the best advice that I can give you. Anyway, now let's talk about R. So again, R is a point which has x coordinate -1 because it's on the line x equals to -1. So we have two coordinates now, -1 comma y, and 2 points actually, and the other point is p, which is 2 comma 10. But this line, the line RP, has gradient 1. Okay, it says so in the question that the gradient of line RP is equals to 1. Okay, so 10 minus y over 2 minus -1 equals to 1. 10 minus y, 2 minus -1 is 3, 10 into 1 into 3 is 3. So y is equals to what? 10 minus 3, which means y is equals to 7. And there you go. That's it. That's your answer. Y equals to 7, the coordinates of R. Actually, since we're supposed to write down the coordinates, so let's write them completely as -1 comma 7. So there you go. Okay, now this is not the end of the question, just so you know. It says the equation, find the equation of the line through P perpendicular to PQ, giving an answer in the form AX plus BY equals to C. Okay, so first of all, if it says through P, let's write down the coordinates of P. P has coordinates 2 comma 10. Okay, and it's perpendicular to PQ. So let's write down the gradient of line PQ. We know very well that the gradient of line PQ is what? It's 3. So that means the gradient of line PQ is 3. So what will be the gradient of the line that is perpendicular to PQ? It's going to be -1 upon 3. The point will remain the same, 2 comma 10. So now let's form an equation, y minus 10 equals to -1 upon 3 into x minus 2. Now let's cross multiply. 3y minus 30 equals to minus x plus 2. Let's get everything over to the left hand side because that's the way the question wants us to give the answer. So it's x plus 3y equals to 2 plus 30, which is equal to 32. And there you go. That's the answer. Then it says find the coordinates of M, the midpoint of the line PQ. Okay, so we have the coordinates of P. Yes, we have the coordinates of Q. Do we have the coordinates of Q? Yes, we do. We figured it out. It's -1 comma 1. Okay, -1 comma 1. Okay, so if you want to find out the midpoint, it's pretty easy now. 2 plus -1 upon 2, 10 plus 1 upon 2. 2 plus -1 is 1, so 1 upon 2, and 10 plus 1 is 11, so 11 upon 2. So there you go. The coordinates of the midpoint are 1 upon 2 and 11 upon 2. Okay. Then it says find the area of QRM. So this is actually the reason why I wanted to do this question. Okay, कि QRM का area कैसे निकालेंगे? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean this up for a minute. Copy this. And here it is. Now notice M has coordinates what? Half and 11 upon 2. Okay. So 11 upon 2 means what? 11 upon 2 basically means 5.5. So let's write it down. 0.5 comma 5.5. So that means it's going to be somewhere over here. Okay. And what you have to find out is basically the area of triangle QRM. So I'm going to draw this triangle separately. Okay. And let's see how we can find out the area. Now, while I'm drawing this, I want to ask you guys a question. And that is, what do you guys suggest that we do over here? Should we use the area formula? Okay. That is the hero's formula. Okay. Or should I use half into base into height? Actually, don't think this is perpendicular. In fact, let me draw it in a way so that it doesn't look perpendicular to you guys. Yeah, here it is. Now, just so you know, M has coordinates half and 5.5. So this is 0.5, and this right here is 5.5. Okay, now what should I use here? Modulus formula. Okay, chalo, let's use the modulus formula. Okay. I was hoping you guys would say half into base into height to make my life easy, but chalo, koi baat nahi. Okay, so chalo, koi baat nahi. We'll learn how to use the formula. Okay. So Q has coordinates what? Q has coordinates -1 comma 1. All right, let's write that down. R has coordinates. Now notice that this is a recent question, so it's taken you step by step. Had it been a question from, I don't know, maybe 2010-9, तो सीधा आपको एक चीज़ बोलता है और उसके लिए आपको ये जितनी भी चीज़ें आपने ऊपर की है ना वो सब one by one करनी पड़ती हैं. Okay, so we have the coordinates of Q, we have the coordinates of R, and we have the coordinates of M now, 0.5 and 5.5. Now, only because the only reason why I'm writing it in decimal is because it's a terminating decimal. Okay, now how do we use the modulus formula? So first let's write down the formula. The way the modulus formula is used is that first you write down all the points, okay, and you write it either in a clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, okay, the way that you've labeled the shape, A, B, C, D. Okay, and once you're done writing down all the points, doesn't matter how many sides the polygon has, 5, 6, 7, although you will only be dealing with either a triangle or a quadrilateral. So x4, y4, and then in the end, what you have to do is, once you've written like all the points, let's say xn, yn, and then in the end, you need to rewrite the first coordinate. Okay, so remember this formula. And then of course you multiply from left to right, and then you multiply from right to left, and then you subtract. Okay, now, so if I were to use that formula over here, here's what that would look like. Minus 1, 1, minus 1, 7. Okay, then the coordinates of M, 0.5 and 5.5. And then in the end, we will rewrite the coordinates of the very first point. Okay, now we start multiplying from left to right. So left to right multiply करेंगे और add करेंगे. Minus 1 into 7 is minus 7, plus minus 1 into 5.5 will be minus 5.5, plus 0.5 into 1 is 0.5. Okay, so let's close this. In between, we write a minus sign. Okay, and now we multiply from right to left. Modulus formula is applicable for any shape there is. Okay, as long as it's a polygon, so you can use this formula, and as long as obviously you have all the coordinates. So minus 1 into 5.5 will be minus 5.5, okay, plus 0.5 into 7 will be 3.5, plus minus 1 into 1 is going to be minus 1. All right, and don't forget that you have a half over here, and not only that, don't forget that everything inside these red and blue brackets has a modulus. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to green now. Okay, so minus 7 minus 5.5 plus 0.5 is equals to minus 12. Okay, minus, let's see what do we have over here. Minus 5.5 plus 3.5 minus 1. So we have minus 3. Okay, again, don't forget that there's a half outside. So minus 12 minus minus 3 becomes minus 12 plus 3, and minus 12 plus 3 becomes minus 9. Now minus 9, when you take the modulus of it, becomes positive 9. So this becomes half into 9, which is equal to 4.5. Now, since we don't know whether it's centimeter, meter, millimeter, kilometer, whatever, we just write unit square. So there you go. Take a good look at it. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. ये formula वैसे लोगों ने मुश्किल बनाया हुआ है because there's a lot of calculation error that can happen in between. There are a lot of things that can go wrong while you're figuring out the area. Other than that, this formula is very easy to use, honestly. It's quite क्या बोलते हैं friendly, you can say, friendly to use, user friendly. Yeah, user friendly, that's what I was looking for. Okay, acha, I'd appreciate if you stopped spamming. Moderator, ये आपका काम है जो मैं कर रहा हूँ. Let's move. Okay, good job. Let's move on to the next question. Any specific questions that you guys have that you would like me to solve, so please share them. चलें ये सवाल करते हैं. अच्छा, मुझे बस 1 मिनट दीजिएगा. give me a minute. I'll do another question where we have to use the area formula. Okay. We're back. So basically the question that I'm going to solve now is, so there's this question where again you have to find out the area. I kind of like that question. एक सेकंड ठहरना, ढूंढता हूँ ज़रा वो सवाल, निकाल के रखा था मैंने. Question number 16. Acha, right after this question. Okay, great. So this is the question that we're going to solve. Okay, this is from also 2015, but October, November. So let's see what it says. So it says solutions to this question again. So you'll find the questions say this very often, that don't try and solve it by accurate drawing. Okay, it's not going to be acceptable. So how many positive pairs for A star? The more the better, of course. Okay. Sir, will we always have half? Yes, you will always have half outside the modulus. Okay, always. With trapezium formula or modulus? Ye kya hai? Sir, I have a question, but it's from 90s of coordinate geometry. Okay, if you have a question from recent years, share that with me, so I can open it up over here. Recent se mera matlab any somewhere in between 2002 to 2022. Okay. So this question says solutions to this question by accurate drawing will not be accepted. All right. 2 points A and B have coordinates so and so. The point, find the coordinates of C where the point, find the coordinates of C, the point where line AB cuts the y-axis. Okay, so first things first, you'll have to start by finding out the equation of line AB, for which obviously you need to find out the gradient. So 8 minus 2 over 9 minus minus 3. So 8 minus 2 is 6. 9 minus minus 3 is 12. So 6 upon 12 is equals to 1 upon 2. Okay. Now, next is that we form an equation. Now, in order to form an equation, you just need a point through which the line is passing. Now, we have 2 points. So I'm just going to go with 9, 8. Again, no particular reason why, but yeah. So y minus 8 is equals to 1 upon 2 into x minus 9. Cross multiply karo, so you have 2y minus 16, which is equal to x minus 9. You can write the equation nicely. Okay, so 2y is equals to x plus 7. Now C is the point where the line is cutting the y-axis, so that means the x coordinate is going to be 0. So 2y equals to 0 plus 7. Solve for the value of y. So that's 7 upon 2 or 3.5. Doesn't matter how you write it. So 0 comma 7 upon 2 are basically the coordinates of C. Okay, then it says find the coordinates of D, the midpoint of AB. So for this, we're going to use the midpoint formula. So the midpoint formula means minus 3 plus 9 upon 2, comma 2 plus 8 upon 2. 2 plus 8 upon 2. Minus 3 plus 9 is 6. 6 upon 2 is 3. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 upon 2 is 5. So 3 comma 5 are your coordinates of D. Okay. ये अच्छा सवाल है, इसमें काफ़ी सारे concepts cover हो रहे हैं. Then it says find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. Now notice this is a recent question. Again, it has made you find out everything step by step. Now we have the midpoint of the of AB, that's 3 comma 5. And we also have the gradient of line AB. We worked it out earlier and it turned out to be 1 upon 2. Now since we're finding out the equation of the perpendicular bisector, that means the gradient of this line will be minus 2. And the gradient of the point through which it's passing is 3 comma 5. So y minus 5 is equals to minus 2 into x minus 3. So let's simplify this. Y is equals to minus 2x plus 6. Let's take minus 5 across the equals to sign. So we have minus 2x plus 11, the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Okay. Remember the steps to find the equation of a perpendicular bisector. First you find out the midpoint, then you find out the gradient, then you take the negative reciprocal of the gradient, and then you combine the two to form an equation. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, sir, y equals to mx plus c में substitute करके c निकाल लेते हैं. Yeah, okay, that's not a bad idea. We could have done that. We could have totally done that. Okay. Acha. Then here's part 4. Part 4 says the perpendicular bisector of AB cuts the y-axis at the point E. The perpendicular bisector of AB cuts the y-axis at the point E. Okay, so that means we need to find out the y-intercept of the perpendicular bisector. So that's pretty easy. That's not that difficult. In fact, we are looking at it technically. So y equals to minus 2x plus 11. So we're talking about the y-intercept. So here is the y-intercept. So E के क्या coordinates हो गए? E के coordinates हो गए 0, 11. Alright. Then it says, show that the area of triangle ABE is 4 times the area of triangle ECD. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find out the area of both the triangles, and we're going to show that the area of one triangle is 4 times the area of the other. So let's write down all the coordinates. A के coordinates हैं minus 3, 2. B has coordinates 9, 8. And E, we just found, has coordinates 0, 11. 0, 11. Okay, then let's find out the coordinates of ECD. E has coordinates 0, 11. C has coordinates, I think, 0, 3.5. Yeah, 0, 3.5. And D has coordinates, okay, 3, 5. There you go. Okay. अच्छा अब एक काम करते हैं. Okay, let's divide the work. I'm going to find out the area of triangle ABE, and I want you guys to find out the area of triangle ECD. Okay, no cheating. Find out the area of triangle ECD using the modulus formula, and here I will find out the area of triangle ABE. Okay, and then we'll compare answers with each other. So minus 3, 2 are the coordinates of A, 9, 8 the coordinates of B, 0, 11 the coordinates of E. Okay, and then don't forget to write down the coordinates of A all over again, minus 3, 2. Okay, now we start multiplying. So minus 3 into 8 is 24, 9 plus 11 is 99. Okay, and then 0 plus 2 is 0. And then from this sum, we subtract the sum of minus 3 into 11, which is minus 33, 0 into 8, which is 0, and 9 into 2, which is 18. So 24 plus 99 will be what, 75, is it? 24 plus 99. No, sorry, minus 24 plus 99. Yeah, that's 75. Okay, so it's minus 24. All right. Then we have minus 33 plus 18. So minus 33 plus 18 is minus 15. Okay, don't forget that this is still inside the modulus. So 75 minus 15 is 90. So half into 90 is equal to what? Is equal to 45. Okay, now. Sir, how can we get... It's in the description, Mariam. Check the description of this video. Okay, you'll find the unsolved copy, and once we're through with this live stream, I'll post the solved copy as well. Okay, whatever questions that we've solved, I'll post that as well. Okay. Okay. Good job, Patrick. Anyone who has worked out the area of triangle ECD? Or are you guys just waiting for me to do it? So I'll write down over here. E के coordinates हैं 0, 11. C has coordinates 0, 3.5. D has coordinates 3, 5. Okay, and then again, don't forget to rewrite the coordinates of E. Now, if you work out the area, I'll skip a few steps over here. So you get 33 minus 10.5. Okay, and then this gets multiplied by half. 33 minus 10.5 is inside the modulus. So if you work this out, you get half multiplied by 22.5. Okay, and half into 22.5 is 11.25. And that's what we were supposed to show. We were supposed to show that the area of triangle ACD is 4 times the area of triangle ABE is 4 times the area of triangle ECD. So you can do that. 11.25 times 4 is equals to 45. Is that so? Yep, that is how it is. So this is what we were supposed to show, and that's it. That's your answer. Hence proved, you can say. Okay. All right, so now let's solve a question from recent years now. 2020 and onwards, perhaps. So I'll give you guys a question to solve. So now I'd like you guys to solve this question. 226 part A, and then part B maybe we'll solve together. Okay, Hasib, just hold on to it. Okay. May, June 2021. I think I might have that over here. May, June 2021. Acha nahi, I don't. I hope it's coordinate geometry and not some other, not related to some other topic. Okay, we'll do that next. Okay. Sir, it is 3.5 y of c coordinate. Yes, it's 3.5. No, I don't have a link where I have all notes of AdMaths, but I do share the notes with every live stream. So you'll find notes of coordinate geometry also in the description. You can download it from there. So midpoint is 8 comma minus 2. Yep, I think that's correct. It is in fact 8 comma minus 2, 4 plus 12 upon 2, comma 3 plus minus 7 upon 2. 4 plus 12 is 16. 16 upon 2 is 8. 3 plus minus 7 is minus 4. Minus 4 upon 2 is 8. So that's the midpoint. Okay, and tell me the gradient of the perpendicular bisector, so we can form an equation. (2023) question? How come you've seen the 2023 question? Nope, it's not Maghrib yet. When it's Maghrib, we'll take a namaz break. Alright, gradient, anyone? Anyone who's worked out the gradient? Minus 5 upon 4. Okay, I hope that's the gradient of the perpendicular bisector that you guys are giving me. Minus 7 minus 3 will be minus 10. Minus 10 over... Okay, so that's the gradient of not the perpendicular bisector. I think that's the gradient of line AB that you guys are giving me. The gradient of perpendicular bisector will be 4 upon 5. Yes, good job, everyone. So 4 upon 5 is the point, is the gradient. 8 comma minus 2 is the point that we're going to use. So y minus minus 2 is equals to 4 upon 5 into x minus 8. Okay, so y minus minus 2 becomes y plus 2, which is equal to 4 upon 5 into x minus 8. Now we cross multiply. So we have 5y plus 10, which is equal to 4x minus 32. Okay, now let's see what do we get. Are we supposed to give it a certain way? No, we're not supposed to give it a certain way. So here's what we get. 5y equals to 4x minus 32 minus 10. So that's minus 42. There you go. That's your answer. Okay, now that is the answer to part A. Now let's have a look at part B. Let's see what part B says. Part B says the line parallel to AB, which passes through the point 5 comma 12, intersects L at the point C, find the coordinates of C. Okay. अब देखो, questions like these, it's always a good idea to sort of visualize what's going on. Okay. Make a rough sketch of what's going on. So the question here says the line parallel to AB. Okay. अब AB कहाँ पे है? Let's just, have a rough sketch of what's going on. A has coordinates 4, 3 and B has coordinates 12, -7. So that means if A is somewhere over here, B will be somewhere over here. It's going to be towards the right and down. So 12 and -7, so that means it's going to be something like this. Okay? Acha. Then it says the line parallel to AB, which passes through the point 5, 12, intersects L at the point C. Okay. So that means there's another line which is parallel to AB. Okay. Acha, by the way, what exactly is L? Bear in mind, L is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay. So ये जो आप देख रहे हैं L, this is actually the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay. And this is the point of intersection. So I'll repeat what's going on. Here's AB, here's the perpendicular bisector of AB. Now the question says that there's another line which is parallel to AB. Now this line, as you can see, is the line that is parallel to AB. Okay, the keyword here is parallel, very important. And this is the line that intersects line L at the point C. Okay, and what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to find the coordinates of C. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to figure this out. And when you have the answer, do share it with me, and I'll see if it's correct or not. So trigonometry I have lined up, inshallah. I'll be streaming trigonometry. Okay, when will I stream trigonometry? Trigonometry I'll most likely stream this. Okay, aaj kya din hai? Aaj Monday hai. Yeah, so you can expect it this week, by weekend hopefully. So don't worry, trigonometry is lined up. Differentiation is lined up, integration is lined up, kinematics, vectors, all the important topics. Functions, permutations, combinations. So all the important topics are lined up. 13, 2. Okay, so we have an answer from Albert Einstein apparently. And yeah, you're right. That's correct. 13, 2 it is. Good job. Okay, anyone else who has the answer? Thirteen, 2 correct, but I just want to make sure that everyone else also got it correct. Thank you, Momin. Appreciate that. Okay, so now let's solve this. So basically, if you have a line which is parallel to AB, that means the gradient of this line. Acha, abhi kaam karte hain. Let's color code it. Let's color this red. Okay, so that means the gradient of the red line. Okay, why is it not red yet? Yeah, okay. So that means the gradient of the red line that we have over here will be equal to what? Will be the same as the gradient of AB, which turned out to be -5/4. Okay. And the point through which this line is passing is 5, 12. So this information is enough to form an equation. Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use this information to form an equation. Okay, so y minus 12 equals to -5/4 into x minus 5. Now we cross multiply and let's see what do we get. So we have 4y minus 4 into 12, which is what? 4 into 12 is 48, is it? Yeah. Equals to -5x plus 25. Let's see what happens. So we have 4y plus 5x, which is equal to 25 plus 48, 73. Okay. ये है May June 2020. Okay, this is May June 2020. All right, now we have one equation. Let's write it nicely. 5x plus 4y. It's always a good idea to write x first and then y. which is equal to 73. Now this is equation number 1. Equation number 2 is the one over here, because what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to find out the point of intersection. Okay, that is basically that will give you the coordinates of C. अब इसकी equation अगर हम ज़रा सही से लिख लें, so that's going to be minus 4x plus 5y, which is equal to what? Which is equal to negative 42. So here is equation number 2. So ये line L की equation है, ठीक है, और ये वो red line की equation है. Now if you solve these two simultaneously, you can solve the two simultaneously by using elimination. That's what I would prefer. But here I'm going to save some time and do it in the calculator straight away. So let's see, what do we get? We get 5, 4, 73, minus 4, 5, and minus 42. So we get x equals to 13, and we get y, which is equal to 2. And there you go. That's your answer. The point of intersection, in fact, C के जो coordinates हैं, वो हैं 13, 2. Point of intersection, which is C, has coordinates 13, 2. So there you go. That's your answer. कल कौन सा मैथ्स का पेपर है? Sir, can I sit the AdMath exam in October by studying for only 2 months? No, not at all. AdMath is not a joke. You need to give it time properly if you want to get a good result. Okay, now. अच्छा, एक topic, एक question है काफ़ी ज़रा मुश्किल सा. Yeah, it's this one, October, November 2021. It's part C actually that's challenging. The rest is pretty straightforward. So I'd like you guys to do that. I'd like you guys to do question number 27, part A. First, find out. Yes, Hasib, let me do this question, then I'll take your question. Okay? In fact, let me extract your question in the meantime. Okay? So I'd like you guys to solve this question. Y equals to x square plus x minus 1 and 2y equals to, इसका वो निकालें आप, point of intersection निकालें. अच्छा, just a minute. I'm going to stop sharing my iPad screen for a few seconds. ठीक है. Won't take long. Just a minute. Acha, Hasib, the question that you're talking about is more of a vectors question than a coordinate geometry question, but it's a bit of both. So let's do it. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. So first, let's get through this question. Okay. This is the question that you're talking about. Okay, we'll solve this in a minute. First, I want you guys to solve this question here, because this may be a tricky part which involves a bit of vectors. So it's important that we do that. Zero comma minus 1 and 4 comma 19. That is correct. Okay. So you'll equate the two. Yeah. So you have y is equals to x square plus x minus 1. Okay, and then you have 2y, which is equal to x square plus 6x minus 2. So clearly you have to solve them simultaneously. You can do substitution over here. So 2 into x square plus x minus 1 equals to what? Equals to x square plus 6x minus 2. So you have 2x square plus 2x minus 2, which is equal to x square plus 6x minus 2. So minus 2 gets cancelled, okay? And now we have x square minus 4x, which is equal to 0. So let's take x common. So we have x minus 4, which is equal to 0. That means x equals to 0 or x equals to 4. Okay? Now when x is 0, let's find out the value of y. So if you plug in 0, so you have 0 squared. I'm using the first equation, okay? 0 squared plus 0 minus 1. So y turns out to be minus 1. So we have 1 point, 0 comma minus 1. Let's call this a. And then if you plug in 4, so that's 4 squared plus 4 minus 1. So 16 plus 20, 4 is 20, 20 minus 1 is 19. So you have another point which has coordinates 4 comma 19. Okay. Now the story doesn't end here. Now you have to find out the point of intersection. So you have to find out the midpoint of these 2 points. So you add the 2, divide by 2. You add minus 1 and 19, divide by 2. So 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Minus 1 plus 19 is minus 18. Minus 18 divided by 2 is 9. And there you go. Here we have the coordinates of the midpoint, 2 comma 9. Okay, pretty easy. Then it says the line L is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Show that C 12 comma 7 lies on the line L. Okay. So we have the coordinates of A 0 comma minus 1. We have the coordinates of B 4 comma 19. And we also have the midpoint of coordinates of AB, and that's 2 comma 9. So first we find out the gradient of line AB. So that's going to be 19 minus minus 1 over 4 minus 0. So that's equal to what? That's equal to 20 upon 4, which is equal to 5. So that means the gradient of the perpendicular bisector will be minus 1 upon 5, and the point through which the line is passing will be 2 comma 9. So y minus 9 equals to minus 1 upon 5 into x minus 2. Yes, early for perpendicular bisector, we take the negative reciprocal. I don't see the minus sign in your in the equation that you've written. It's minus 1 upon m. Okay. So we cross multiply. So 5y minus 45 equals to minus x plus 2. Basically, you don't even have to simplify because all you have to do at the end of the day is just plug in the point. But let's do it for the sake of, writing it nicely. Now, if I plug in 12 comma 7, the left hand side should be equal to the right hand side. So 5 into 12 plus 7. Let's see if that is equal to 47. Okay. Something is wrong because it's not equal to. Okay, let me check. Might have made a calculation error somewhere. Okay, the left hand side should have been equal to the right hand side. So 5y 95 is 45 equals to minus x plus 2. 5, yeah. So 35 plus 12, which is equal to 47. That's correct. 47 equals to 47. There you go. Thank you for pointing this out. Lag. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Seems to be okay at my end. But yeah. Okay. Now here's part C. Part C is the reason why I wanted to do this question. क्योंकि ये ज़रा थोड़ा सा tricky part है. It says the point D also lies on L such that the distance of D from AB is 2 times the distance of C from AB. Okay. Now remember one thing. Whenever the question says distance and it doesn't mention what type of distance, it's always the perpendicular distance. Okay. It's always the perpendicular distance. Okay. So let's talk about A and B. A has coordinates 0 comma minus 1. B has coordinates 4 comma 19. Okay. So that means 0 comma minus 1 and 4 comma 19. This is what it looks like. Okay. Then we worked out the midpoint of AB. So that was right over here. Here is M and here is B. Okay. Acha, uske baad the question says the point D lies on L. Now what's L? L is basically the perpendicular bisector of line AB. So L is the perpendicular bisector of line AB. Okay. Now here's what the question says. The question says the point D also lies on L such that the distance of D from AB is 2 times the distance of C from AB. Now C has coordinates 12 comma 7. Achha, bear in mind that M has coordinates what? M has coordinates 2, 9. ठीक है. 12, 7 का मतलब है कि point C is going to be somewhere over here. Okay, this is where point C is going to be. Now, point D is such that its distance from, according to the question, point D is such that its distance from AB is 2 times the distance from C. Okay. So what does that mean? That means K, and notice that the question says to find out the coordinates of the two possible positions. Okay. The question says to find out the coordinates of the two possible positions. Okay. So एक possibility ये है कि point D यहाँ पे हो. Alright, and why is this the case? Because if this is 1, then you can see that this is 2. Okay, the question says that the distance of D is, in other words, the distance of D from AB is twice the distance of C from AB. Okay, and like I said, when the question is silent, remember, it means that it's the perpendicular distance. Okay, now, here's what we can do. One possibility is that C is the midpoint of MD. C is the midpoint of MD. Why? Because you can see that if D is twice as far from AB than C, then in other words, C ends up being in the center. Okay, तो एक possibility तो ये है कि C जो है वो D का midpoint बन जाए. अच्छा, MD का midpoint बन जाए. M के coordinates हैं 2, 9. C के coordinates हमें पहले ही सवाल दे चुका है, it's 12, 7. और D के क्या coordinates हैं? D के coordinates हैं x, y. Okay. Now let's find out the midpoint using M and D. So 2 plus x upon 2, so that's going to be equal to 12. And 9 plus y upon 2, that's going to be equal to 7. Okay. Now let's solve this. So 2 plus x equals to 24, which means x equals to what? X is equals to 22. Okay. And then 9 plus y is equals to 7, which means 9 plus y equals to 14, which means y is equals to 5. Now we have one possible position of D which has coordinates 22, 5. Okay? अब ये एक answer है. Now I want you to think about it and tell me what will be the other possibility. Okay? अब ये एक answer हमने निकाला है, which is correct, 22, 5. Let me write it again. Now take a good look at it and tell me about the other possibility. कि दूसरी क्या possibility हो सकती है? -5 in the opposite direction. Yep, that's true. Now the other possibility is that it could be in the opposite direction. ठीक है. Question ने कहीं mention नहीं किया हुआ था कि वो उसी side पे होगा जिस side पे C है. The other possibility is that it could very well be in the opposite direction. ठीक है. So D could be somewhere over here. अब ये twice हो सकता है. ठीक है. अच्छा. Now what we're going to do is we'll have to use the concept of vectors over here. Okay. We'll have to use the concept of vectors over here. Now I'll tell you how you can do that. So I'm just going to clean this up and like make a fresh version of it. So here is D with coordinates we don't know, x, y. Okay. And here is M with coordinates 2, 9. Okay. And here is C with coordinates, क्या थे C के coordinates? 12, 7. Okay. And here you can see कि अगर ये 1 है तो ये double है. Okay. अब how exactly are we going to use the concept of vectors over here? Let's try and understand that. Now let's say I want to travel from C to M. So I will move a certain units towards the left and I will move a certain units up. Okay. So that means if you see that we're going from 12 to 2, that means we're moving 10 units towards the left. Okay. And let me do this with a different color. Yeah, we're moving 10 units towards the left and we're going from 7 to 9, so that means we're moving 2 units up. Now if you do that from M to D, what you're going to do now is you're going to double this movement. Why? Because the distance is double, so x and y also get doubled. So if you're moving from M to D, so the number of units that you will move horizontally towards the left would be 20, and the number of units that you will move vertically towards D will be double of what you did earlier, and that would be 4. ठीक है, ये 1 और 2 से confuse नहीं हो जाना. ये 1 और 2 basically are the ratio of their lengths. Okay. Now let's do that. We have M. Now if the x coordinate of M is 2 and you move 20 units towards the left, okay, so what would you do? You would subtract 20 from the x coordinate. Okay, so here is M, the x coordinate is 2. If you move 20 units towards the left, that means you take away 20 from x, so 20 minus, or 2 minus 20. And then just like that, if you're at 9 and you move 4 units up, so moving 4 units up from 9 means what? Means that you're going to add something, and what are you going to add? You're going to add 4, so 9 plus 4. तो अब ये आपके d के कोऑर्डिनेट्स आ गए. अच्छा, ये d के कोऑर्डिनेट्स हैं, m के कोऑर्डिनेट्स नहीं है. अब ये d के कोऑर्डिनेट्स आ गए क्या? -18, 13. So there you go. This is the other possible position of d. And there you go. That's your answer. So what do you guys think about this question? मुश्किल था ना? Let me know what your thoughts are, by the way. What are your thoughts about this question? So how to join your A-level session for... Okay, so just follow on Instagram. Instagram पे मैं announce कर दूँगा. YouTube पे भी मैं announce कर दूँगा exactly what the procedure is and how you can join. Don't worry about it. Okay, registrations will start in July. अभी चल करें, अभी से क्यों आप लोग इतनी टेंशन ले रहे हैं? Registrations July में start होंगी. You can join them. Easy. Okay, that's brave. If you guys find this easy. अच्छा, एक सवाल और करते हैं. फिर let's call it a day. Sir, why -20? Can you explain it again? So देखो, we're moving 20 units towards the left. Okay, we're moving 20 units towards the left. Now, if you're moving horizontally towards the left, what does that mean? That means you're going. That means the new x coordinate would be 20 less than the previous one. Okay. Yes, that formula is applicable. लेकिन ये वाला formula आता नहीं है वैसे. And you can't use that formula over here. Okay, can't use that formula over here. It's not going to help you in any way. I was yawning throughout the question. Okay. Sir, please share the IGCSE pass. You will find that on my Instagram. Instagram पे जाओ, एक highlight होगी, उसमें मैंने link share किया हुआ. You can download it from there. The solved version, also the unsolved version. Okay, there is one paper which is solved, the other paper is unsolved. So yeah, you can download it from there. Do you have a prim session? What do you mean? I don't have a session for October, November, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, I got a copyright strike, exactly. That's why I took it down. But you will still find the PDF of it, the solved and the unsolved PDF on my Instagram. Okay, so ये question solve करें? Let's solve this question. And कल आप लोगों का पेपर भी है. कितने लोगों का पेपर है कल जो अभी स्ट्रीम देख रहे हैं उनमें से? So it says find the length of AC. So that's pretty easy. We have the coordinates of A and we have the coordinates of C, so we can do that. 11 minus 5, the whole thing square, plus 6 minus -4, the whole thing square. So AC equals to 11 minus 5 is 6. Square of 6 is 36, so 36 plus 100, so square root of 136, whatever that is equal to. Let's see what that is equal to. 2 root 34. So AC is equals to 2 under root 34. Okay, or you can write it in decimal also if you want. Okay. Then it says, acha, don't forget that AC is the diagonal of a square ABCD. Okay, don't forget that. Then it says the coordinates of the center E of the square are 8 comma y. Find the value of y. Okay. Basically understand what a square looks like. Okay. So if this is a square, all right, if this is what a square is, then your center is basically the midpoint of the endpoints of the diagonal. Okay, or in other words, you can say that the diagonals intersect at midpoint. Now this is not like the exact representation of the coordinates that we have over here, but just to give you guys a rough idea. So this is basically where E is. Ab E nikalne ke liye all I have to do is find out the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. 5 plus 11 upon 2. Okay, and then minus 4 plus 6 upon 2. Now make sure that you guys download my notes. Okay, you'll find them in the description. In the notes, I've sort of taken all the important shapes and written its properties. Okay, so you need to know the properties of a square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus. So 5 plus 11 is 16. 16 upon 2 is 8. Minus 4 plus 6 is 2. 2 upon 2 is 1. So there you go. The value of y, you can see, is equal to 1. Okay. Then it says find the equation of the diagonal PD. Okay, how do we do that? How do we find out the equation of the diagonal PD? Abhi tak to aasan tha. Now this is where it gets tricky. How do we find out the equation of diagonal PD? We need the gradient, right? What else do we need? How do we find out the gradient of the diagonal? Chalo, as far as the point through which the diagonal is passing, that is concerned, we have that. 8 comma 1 will do the job, but the question is, how do we find out the gradient of the diagonal PD? That's a question for you guys. I can't find the PDF. You'll उसमें नहीं है, description में नहीं है. Description में मैंने upload किए हुए हैं notes. किसके PDF की बात कर रहे हैं आप? Notes के PDF की बात कर रहे हैं या आप बात कर रहे हैं February March के papers की? If you're talking about the notes, then I'm looking at it. It's right there. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, BD is perpendicular bisector of AC. Okay, yeah, it's a perpendicular bisector. So we have the gradient. Basically, in order to find out the gradient of BD, we will take the negative reciprocal of the gradient of AC. So let's find out the gradient of AC. So for that, we will do 6 minus minus 4 over 11 minus 5. 6 minus minus 4 is 10. 10 upon 11 minus 5 is 6, which is equal to 5 upon 3. But the gradient of BD, be careful, will now be minus 3 upon 5. So y minus 1 equals to minus 3 upon 5 into x minus 8. Now you cross multiply. So you have 5y minus 5 equals to minus 3x plus 24, which means 5y plus 3x equals to 24 plus 5, which is 29. Now the question really doesn't want us to write it a certain way, so we're not going to do that. 5y plus 3x equals to 29 looks good. Okay, now here's part 3, and I think this is the challenging part of this question. It says given that the x coordinate of B is less than the x coordinate of D. Now why did the question say that? Why did the question feel the need to tell this to us, that given that the x coordinate of B is less than the x coordinate of D? Okay, so it told us, उसने हमें ये इसलिए बताया क्योंकि इसी शेप को एक और बनाने का तरीका ये था कि हम इसको ऐसे बना देते A B C D, in which case the x coordinate of B would have been more than the x coordinate of D. Why? Because you can see that in this case B is towards the right of D. So in this case, what would have happened is that the x coordinate of B would have been greater than the x coordinate of D. So that is why the question is telling us that, so that you draw it appropriately. You draw it like this, the way that I drew it earlier. A is going to be over here, okay, then B is going to be over here, C and D. Okay, don't forget that AC will remain diagonal irrespective. Okay, okay, so this way you can see that the x coordinate of B is, no, wait a minute, अच्छा उल्टा बना दिया वापस से. B is going to be over here, C is going to be over here, D is going to be over here. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so this way you can see that the x coordinate of B is clearly less than the x coordinate of D. Okay, now just because I've drawn these lines horizontally does not mean that they are horizontal. Okay, remember this is not an accurate representation, just to give you guys an idea. Okay, now what do we have to do? We have to write EB and ED as column vectors. Okay, EB. Now, EB as a vector can be obtained by simply doing OB minus OE. If you do OB minus OE, you get EB. Okay. Do we have OB? No, we don't. In fact, we do. We have the coordinates of B. Do we have? Okay, no, we don't. We don't. Okay. Achha. But there's something else that we can do, and that is, अच्छा इसको यहीं पे छोड़ देते हैं. And don't forget that ED, okay, ED also can be obtained by simply doing okay, अच्छा एक काम करते हैं. Wait a minute. So basically BE and ED will be equal. Okay, so let's start like this. BE and ED will be equal. Okay, now let's split up BE. So if I split up BE, BE can be written as OE minus OP. But the problem with that is we don't have the coordinates of B. We do have the coordinates of E, but that really doesn't help. Okay, but if I split up ED, that helps. ED, if I split it up, can be written as O. Let me see. Can be written as O. Wait a minute. OD minus OE. Okay. Now, achha, if you think about it, we might think for a second that we don't have ED. Okay, we might think for a second that we don't have ED, but technically that's not the case. We do have ED. Okay, why is that? That's because when we found out the gradient, okay, we ended up with what? We ended up with ED. Notice that we found out the gradient of AC to be equal to what? We found out the gradient of AC. So जो हमने AC का gradient निकाला था, remember this concept that you can form a vector using the gradient also. So the gradient of AC that we found out before we simplified it was equal to what? Was equal to 10 upon 6. Okay, 10 upon 6. Which means that if you write AC as a vector, AC as a vector will be equal to what? AC as a vector will be equal to 6 and 10. Why? Because remember, this is the change in y and this is the change in x. Okay. Then if you write down the gradient of BD, now because BD is perpendicular to AC, so BD का जो gradient होगा वो होगा minus 6, 10. That means if you write down using this, if you write down the vector, so the vector is going to be what? The vector is going to be 10 comma minus 6. So it's like literally taking the negative reciprocal of the vector. Okay, except that x becomes y, y becomes x, and we change the sign of this. We change the sign of y. Okay. Now, if you have BD, and we know very well कि जो BE है, BE is equal to ED. Okay. And BE and ED are both what? BE and ED are both equal to half of BD. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to find half of BD, which means half of 10 and minus 6. So half of 10 and minus 6 is basically 5 and minus 3. Okay, so अब हमें क्या मिल गया? हमें BE मिल गया, which is equal to 5 and minus 3. And with the help of that, we also have ED, which is the same. Okay, but the thing is, that's not what the question is asking for. Well, partly it is. The question was asking for ED. But the thing is, how do we turn BE into EB? अब BE को EB में बदलने के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? Sorry about that. Yeah, so BE को EB में बदलने के लिए we'll have to change the sign. So we change the sign. So EB turns out to be what? EB turns out to be minus 5 and 3. Now I know this was a bit complicated. Well, that's how the question is. It is a complicated question, but yeah, here's the solution. So take a good look at it and let me know what your thoughts are. Yes, what you guys have said is correct, sir. Gradient of AC into gradient of BD is minus 1. But remember to not, if you're taking the simplified version, then you will immediately find out BE. Okay, आप ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं कि if you find out, if you basically use AE and find out the gradient, then you can find out the vector also. But if you take the negative reciprocal of it, then as a result you end up finding out EB. So there you go. That's it. That's your answer. थोड़ा ज़रा messy हो गया, but I hope it's clear. So let's keep it till here only. I will encourage you guys to practice the rest of the questions. Okay. Yes, it was definitely an intriguing question. I will encourage you guys to practice the rest of the questions. Keep practicing. And tomorrow, inshallah, I'm doing permutations and combinations. You guys don't have an exam on Wednesday, right? Yes, Hasib, I know this was a slightly weird question. Okay. हर पेपर में देखो इस तरह का एक challenging question होता है. And as far as I remember, for this paper, this was the most challenging question. Okay. So that's how things are. It's okay. Nothing to worry about. It's a 2-mark question. So if, God forbid, in the paper, you weren't able to solve this, so it's okay. But you should always try and solve these questions when you're practicing. It opens up new concepts as well. It opens up new possibilities. You can't find the PDF. Okay. So let me see what I can do. Okay. Let me see what I can do about the PDF for February, March. So yeah, I'll stop here. I'll see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Tomorrow for math, I'm streaming graphs of functions. For AdMaths, I'm streaming permutations and combinations. No, wait. Oh, so, okay, wait a minute. For AdMaths, I'm not streaming permutations and combinations, sorry. I'm streaming rates of change and small change. I'll let you guys know. I'll post it on my Instagram. Okay? Don't worry. So that's it, boys and girls. Take care. Good luck.